Hello, friends, and Namaskaram. On January 9th, the year is 2007, the tech world shifted on its axis. When Steve Jobs walked onto the Macworld stage, he wasn't just launching a phone, he was introducing a pocket sized computer that would fundamentally transform how we communicate, work, and exist. In this video, we dive deep into the history of the original iPhone, from the risk of abandoning the physical keyboard to the gamble on a multi touch interface. We analyze why Apple's revolutionary product became the blueprint for the entire smartphone industry. We explore the tech, the design, the philosophy, and the cultural impact that was created uh, by this particular device that we live with today. We cannot imagine living without a smartphone. So let's go and explore the history again. So, friends, close your eye. Let me take you back to the year 2006. If you wanted to check your email, you went to a desk. If you wanted to take a photo, you carried a dedicated camera. If you wanted to listen to music, you pulled out an iPod. And if you wanted to make a phone call, you used a plastic brick with physical buttons that felt like they were designed for someone with tiny precision engineered thumbs. Mobile communication was functional, yes, but it was limited. It was clunky. It was disconnected. Then on January 9th, 2007, the world shifted. As the Mac World Convention in San Francisco, one man walked on stage and introduced a device that didn't just change the industry, it invented the modern world as we know it today. We are looking back at the first iPhone and why it remained the most important piece of consumer tech ever built. Before the iPhone, the smartphone market was complicated. It was dominated by business first devices. If you had a smartphone, it usually meant you had a QWERTY keyboard permanently taking up the half the screen. The mobile internet was miserable experience. Most WAP sites, slow loading time, and the text only interface. We accept this. We accept it, right? We thought that was as good as we would ever get. The industry was obsessed with more and more buttons, more physical styluses, and more complexities. So, friends, before we move forward, please let us know from which city or country you have tuned in into this video. All right, let's continue. The Apple's approach was radically different. They didn't want to build a better phone. They wanted to build a computer you could carry in your pocket. But the challenge was massive. They had to solve the keyboard problem. How do you make a phone when the screen is on the phone itself? When Steve Jobs took the stage, he did something masterful. He teased the audience. He said, I've been looking forward to this for 2.5 years. He told us that he was releasing three products: an iPod with touch control, a revolutionary mobile phone, and a breakthrough internet communicator. He repeated it over and over and over. And then he dropped the bombshell. These weren't three separate devices, it was just one. The audience erupted. But the true genius wasn't just the marketing, it was in the rejection of the stylus. Jobs famously asked, who wants a stylus? You have to get them, put them away, or you will lose them, right? Apple bet everything on human finger. They bet on multi-touch, and it was a massive gamble. In 2007, the capacitive touchscreen were very expensive, unproven, and notoriously difficult to make responsive. If that screen didn't work, if it lagged or misread your taps, the entire product would have been a laughing stock. So, why did it work? It wasn't just the screen, it was the software. Apple essentially shrunk a version of Mac OS down to fit on a handheld device. It had a real web browser, Safari, that showed real websites, not those stripped down mobile versions everyone else was forcing us on back in the day. Let's talk about that interface. It was fluid. It had inertia scrolling. You could pinch to zoom. These gestures feels like second nature now, like breathing. But in 2007, they felt like magic. It felt like the device was reading your mind. The grid of the icon was intuitive. It removed the barrier to entry. You did not need a manual to use an iPhone. You just touched it and it responded. By removing the physical keyboard, they turned the phone into a blank canvas. Today, you see your phone for maps, banking, photography, and streaming. In 2007, the iPhone made all of that possible by creating a screen that could change its function instantly. The iPhone didn't just change the mobile market, it changed the human behavior. It accelerated the age of always on connectivity. Before the iPhone, your digital life was tethered to a desk. After the iPhone, the internet was a constant companion in your pocket. It gave birth to the App Store a year later, which revolutionized the global economy, spanning entirely new industries like ride sharing, food delivery, and social media dominance. Every smartphone you see today, whether it's an Android or an iPhone, is a direct descendant of that 2007 design. The large screen, the lack of physical keyboard, the gesture based navigation, every single one of them is living in the shadow of that first keynote. Looking back, it is easy to dismiss the first iPhone. It had no 3G, no App Store at launch, and the camera was not very good quality. But judging it by today's spec is missing the point. The first iPhone wasn't just about hardware, it was about a vision. It was about realizing that we are entering a new era of computing. It took the complexity of technology and made it more human. It turned the phone into a tool for creativity, connection, and discovery. And that more than any other feature is why we still talk about it nearly 2 decades later. So, what was your first smartphone experience? Please share your experience in the comment section below. Did you make the jump to iPhone early or did you hold out for something else? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the tech that define our lives. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you again in the next one.